Hi guys, welcome back to Radio Taiwan International. You're listening to Geek Out. What's your cup of tea, tickles your fancy, or floats your boat? Join us as we share passions from people in Taiwan and around the world. I'm your host, Michelle Chang, and today in the studio we have our lovely Issy Wells.
Hello, everyone.
Back again.
I'm back again.
Yes, to talk about
K-dramas.
K-dramas. We're geeking out about K-dramas today. K meaning Korean, in case you guys are out of the loop, but they've really been popular for quite a while now.
Yeah, so I'll tell you the story of the first K-drama that I watched, actually.
Yes.
So it was Itaewon Class, and I think before my preconceptions about K-dramas were kind of, I was just like, oh, I think I didn't know what a Korea boo was, but I think like that I didn't know that term, but I think in my head I was like, oh, you know, I'm not sure it's for me, or like people are really into this stuff, it's kind of like culty. And I was like, oh, when actually I think I had a stereotype in my head, when actually it's not like that actually it's just like great TV. Right,
it's absolutely great TV. So was the first one that you watched?
So it was Itaewon Class.
Okay.
And I was actually living, this was in my last year of university, and I was living with two of my friends, and they like one of them I think speaks a little bit of Korean, but they both like big fans of BTS and like Korean drama. This is actually also when I first started getting into BTS as well, so it's partly a lot to do with their influence.
Right.
And so they were like, oh yeah, let's watch one. I was like, oh, okay, like, you know, I'll give it a go. I was hooked. I was like, oh my goodness, how have I never watched a K-drama before? Like, this is incredible TV. It's like me, I was like, this is what I want in a TV show. The drama, I remember the first episode I watched, it was like so much happened, so much went on, and I think I'm used to watching kind of like more slow-paced stuff, like I don't know, like BBC dramas or whatever, where it's like kind of slow burners, right? And I, you know, you get a bit bored, but you know, then maybe like it'll pick up in like the end and it'll give you a juicy kind of ending. But this provides action every single episode. You know, there's plot twists and turns.
So before we keep going, I'm going to warn our listeners, this is going to contain spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled on these K-dramas that we're going to talk about, then perhaps listen to this episode after you watch them.
I'll try not to spoil anything that's gonna, you know, ruin it for you.
like a season finale, something
like that. Cool. You know, this was the twist. But yeah, so the first episode, I remember actually this kind of, I won't say who was in the car crash, but there's a car crash, and that's
how it opens.
It's pretty early on, not straight away. But I think he's getting, honestly, this, because this was a couple of years ago now, and I actually, as soon as I finished it, I went back and watched the first episode again because I was so sad that it finished. So there's a car crash at the start, and basically just a load of stuff unfolds. And I would say the only thing is, if you're, depending on how familiar you are with K-dramas, there usually is about, is it 16 or 17 episodes in one series, and I think that's also a thing that I quite like, because they end up wrapping up the story for you. There's none of that stuff in Western dramas where it's like they want to make another season. They want to make another like 5 seasons out of it. You never get the answers you want, whereas they actually provide, like, they wrap up the story.
The story will be finished.
You see where they are, especially in Itaewon Class, you see where they are in a couple years time afterwards. So
they give you like an epilogue.
I really like that part of it. It feels like the plot and the story is finished, and you're really sad it's over, but you know, at least they've given you those answers. You're not wanting left being like, what the hell? Like,
and sometimes what I really dislike about when they do multiple seasons on a show is sometimes the show is not renewed. And then you're just left hanging for the rest of your life about that particular show.
Or it's like you were like, oh my God, what happens next? And then the next series doesn't come out for another couple of years. At which point you've forgotten what's happened in the first series. And then you have to watch those silly like explainer videos where they like basically tell you what happened. It was not the same.
Oh, look. Okay. So I have a kind of a weird relationship with K-dramas. Let me explain. My family is South Korean diaspora from mainland China. So from Shandong province specifically, right? My grandparents ran into South Korea. My parents were born there. And then my parents immigrated to the US, where I was born and raised. So I have spent a lot of my childhood, like summers and winters, going back to visit my family, my grandmother and everybody in South Korea. So what did we do when I was a kid at my grandma's house? Sit there in the living room and watch like OG K-dramas.
Yeah, nice.
So I kind of and over the years returning back to Korea, saw the rise in the West of the popularity of South Korea, like K-pop and K-dramas.
Yeah,
which it's been a trip. Yeah, because like everyone's like, you go where for summer? When I was little, but now they're all super envious.
Right,
like, you get to go to South Korea.
Like, so jealous. Yeah, yeah.
So, right. So yeah, growing up, I guess it still reminds me of my grandma. Whenever I think about the concept of K-dramas, my mom still watches them every day.
Yeah, but
I do love the fact that, as you said, all of them are series that are concluded, I'm going to say within 20 episodes. So yes, you get your answers right away.
Yeah, which I think is great. And there's always as well, like, I think the characters you're always quite tightly attached to.
Right.
So I think you just like love watching them through this journey, and then it's not like, oh, and then what? Like, right. you do kind of, it's finished for you, yeah, which I actually really appreciate.
Because it's so, I guess, short for in if you compare it to like a 7-season show, they do have to really get into character development and plots and things.
Yeah, so there's a lot of twists and turns. I think that's one of the things that I like the most is that in a TV show, I like that there's drama. I like it to be exciting. I don't want to be bored.
Yes.
I want to be on the seat, on the edge of my seat, and that's what they bring. There's a lot of twists and turns. Yeah. There are some that are more
slower
burner. And yeah, like not so much. There was one I watched. Oh, I forget the name of it now. But it was a kind of meant to be. It was with like, what's his name, Sung Kang. Do you know? And he's now on a load of they use his face for a load of the tourist stuff in Korea.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's a Saiga.
Definitely Saiga. Handsome dude. Handsome man, right?
But that was a slightly kind of different type, and everyone was like, oh, this is a lot more different to the usual like dramatic twists and turns. It was kind of a more slow paced one. So my friend really liked it for that reason, that it was kind of different to other ones that she'd seen before.
Right.
And I enjoyed watching it, but I think I still prefer the like traditional like, you know, oh my goodness, this happened, and now they're long lost sisters, or like, you know.
Okay, so let's punch some holes in people who haven't really gotten into K-dramas. Let's punch some holes in some stereotypes. So when we say drama, it's just like in Western series where you can have very many different kinds of drama.
Yes.
So you can have very soap opera like dramas, as well as action dramas, horror dramas, which I have, which, you know, I can't watch, but they're great.
Yeah. And I think as well, like, you know, like I shared before how I had certain stereotypes about it. I think like this term K-drama sometimes puts people off because they're like, oh, I'm not a Korea boo, I'm not like, but actually you really shouldn't let that. I mean, that's silly. I mean, I was like that as well, but it is silly to kind of think about it like that. Right. It just means it's just a series that was made in Korea, basically.
Exactly. That's all.
Yeah.
I guess my issue is that having tried to watch K-dramas before and failed kind of, is because it's so quick with the turns and the twists.
You have to be paying attention.
I have to be paying attention.
It's not for everyone.
And I'm unfortunately one of those TV watchers who's also like, I'm knitting or I'm cooking.
Oh no. Yeah, you can't. We've got the subtitle. I assume
the subtitle problem.
Well.
Right. I can understand a little bit of Korean, but not all of it. So yes, I have to be paying attention and reading subtitles.
That's funny. There was a time actually when I was living here and I wanted to watch a Korean. It was like a movie or a K-drama. But my flatmate, she's a big crocheter, and so every time she'd be like, "No, I can't because I can't be crocheting." And also,
you have to be watching it very closely. And I mean, that's really what it is about K-dramas that's so addictive for people.
Yeah. Back to the stereotypes though. It's funny, I see on social media quite a lot about how K-dramas have given this unrealistic portrayal of what Korean men are like.
Yes. Thank you for touching.
Yeah, so in a K-drama, the guy will be like, you know, it'll be raining and he'll have a umbrella for you to as you step out of the car, or he's just like, I guess, think of like what you would think of as Mr. Perfect, who's just like Mr. so chivalrous. Like, yeah, so caring, so, you know, all of your needs are met, like just very, very chivalrous,
very
basically.
Chivalrous
a
and
gentleman.
Romantic, yeah.
But yeah, I've seen quite a lot of stuff being like, yeah, this is not
well, it's
reality.
The same. It's the same if you watch you know, Western dramas. A lot of them men are portrayed in ways that are like overly romantic, and you know, they will hold their boombox above their head and say nice things to you. But I mean,
reality is it's not like that.
Hashtag not all men.
Yeah, I know. I think that. Yeah. Oh, man. There's no way that there can be just one type of men anyway, right? So you can't stereotype a whole race like that.
Absolutely. And although what I do appreciate with K-pop and K-dramas is that they have normalized, for example, cosmetics for men. Mm-hmm. And well, we were in Taiwan, so we're, I guess, Korea adjacent, is something like that. Yeah. And so you see a lot of advertisements, a lot of commercials, a lot of, you know, if you go to the drugstore looking to buy makeup, there are, you know, men marketed cosmetics, which is fantastic. Yeah. So they're breaking down a lot of those social barriers.
Yeah. I think. And I think as well, something to be said, what I quite like, and I think it also, you find it a bit in Taiwan as well, is that looking after your appearance isn't just something that the woman does.
Of course.
Which I think is kind of great. Like, I think, you know, it's up to you whether you want to take pride in it's not about how you look. I think just like respecting yourself, like being clean.
Oh yeah.
And like, you know,
it's a self-care thing.
Right, self-care.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think that we don't have that in the West, in the UK, definitely not. Yes. It's like, you know, women will take forever to get ready and like want to look like amazing and whatever, and that's amazing if they do want to do that. They're not saying that they have to.
Not at all.
But the guy will turn out with just like chucked on a t-shirt and like, he's
and
like,
that's
yeah,
okay.
I'm just here,
I'm just here waiting for you.
Right. So I kind of like that. It's a thing that both men and women have the freedom to do should they want to, right? Yes. And it's not just like, oh, the woman needs to look like this, but I can turn up, you know, just rolling out of bed and like smelling like you know.
Right. I mean, having been to Korea once a year, except for the COVID years, it is like going to Seoul, and then my grandmother lives in a small town. It is also night and day. Seoul is it's a big city, right?
Right.
So you do see all kinds of men and women, but like the fashion is really fun.
Yeah.
And obviously food, but if you're going around shopping, it's just there are 24-hour shopping districts.
To go shopping. Wow.
24 hours. Like if you want to pull an all-nighter and just buy, try on, buy, you can do that. It's amazing. And it's you know, I'm very glad that, you know, Korean fashion is breaking in everywhere.
For sure. And I've only been once to Seoul, but I'm really desperate to go back and be able to go to other places as well. And I was just so struck when I got there how beautiful everyone was. Yeah. Like, I mean,
they do take pride in their appearance,
right? And also, I mean, surgery there is a huge thing.
That is also very true.
So, just everyone is like beautiful, and I don't know if I could live there because I feel like oh my goodness,
would you feel
everyone.
Pressure?
Yeah, I think I'd end up like getting however many procedures. Who knows?
I mean, okay, so I have also gotten a procedure done. I've had my under eyes done simply because everyone was like, "Oh, do you have a late night last night?"
Really?
Yeah, right. So I kind of got tired of that, and but it is actually life-changing to be able to harness today's modern technology.
Botox or?
Oh no, I got they basically moved around the fat in there a little bit and took out some.
Okay, in Taiwan. Oh, okay.
But yes, South Korean cosmetic surgery technology is definitely at the forefront and pushing away a lot of the stigma around it, right?
Yeah.
Because we should all have the ability to use modern technology in order to feel better about ourselves.
I agree. It's kind of it's a double-edged sword a bit,
true.
Because I think it's normalized, but in that people wouldn't be like, oh my goodness, she got surgery, and give you judgment for that, because it is so normal. But at the same time, I think people feel real pressure to look a certain way.
True.
And that's
especially
tricky.
younger people who are still trying to, I guess, figure out who they are.
Yeah. Right. There is something, though, I think, to be said, though, in the fact that, like, all these idols and like the actresses and actors in the dramas, they are gorgeous.
But it's pretty.
But everyone knows that it's like a thing, that an industry thing, that everyone will have had surgery done. And I think that's helpful to know.
Yes.
And that it's not like, oh my goodness, how do they look like this? Like, I could never.
Right.
But, you know,
as it is in the West, it's like there's a lot of the whether or not they got something done is a mystery. But in South Korea, it's a well-known fact that there has been assistance from science.
yeah. So I think it's good then in that it's kind of people know it's not like, it's not selling unattainable, unrealistic beauty.
Right.
People know that it's normal. People get it done.
It's all right. People get it done if you want to. Okay, so as far as recommendations go, there are, I'm sure you've watched many K-dramas at this point.
Yes.
What would you recommend for someone who's never watched
okay,
before?
so well, first I would have to ask what kind of stuff you like.
Genres,
whether it's like you want something a bit more romancy, or more like just like drama,
action-packed something.
Yeah. So I mean, you know what was interesting? Sorry, I digress, but when I'd gotten into K-dramas, but then during COVID, Squid Game
came out, exploded,
and that was suddenly all my friends who didn't know what a K-drama was, and still didn't know what a K-drama was, they'd all watched it, and they were like, oh wow, this is like amazing, and it was so like took the internet like by storm. Yeah, absolutely. And everyone was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing, and I was like, guys, like
it's just a K-drama,
right? Yeah, I was like, they're all this good.
Yeah.
So I thought that was, I did think that one was good, but I didn't think it's the best. I think it was more like it's like it's like when the first, I guess, 'cause it was popular, and the first one you watch of them is always going to be the best.
It's weird how sometimes it's weird how sometimes something just unexpectedly goes viral, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what happened with Squid Game.
Yeah. So I think that's a fun one. That's like, you know, like about a game show, but it's pretty violent. Have you seen it?
It's super violent.
Yeah.
Oddly, my at my school, a couple of teachers at the school made like themed classrooms after school,
really?
And I had to remind them that's a show about murder
and
social
murder,
right? And social inequality. I mean,
I remember after it came out, the Halloween after,
right,
in Taiwan, everyone was dressed up in the like suits that the guards, with
the masks and stuff. Yeah.
So I mean, I really love, I don't know if I say it, but Itaewon Class, and I don't know whether that was just because it was my first one I watched, but I also think it's great, and I think I really like the characters. Well, I love Park Seo-joon, that's probably part of it. The main guy.
Main 帅哥.
Yeah. He's gorgeous. I have a big crush on him.
Itaewon is spelled Itaewon. Class.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's, I think I like that, and I also think it has a lot of elements that will appeal to a lot of people. In that it has a bit of romance, but it also has that kind of like action, it has the twists, it has the turns, and it also has a story of someone becoming successful from nothing, which is
validation,
and it's engaging to watch. Another amazing one that I watched, and I think that would also come in top first, joint first.
Okay, joint first.
Would be Little Women, and it's not the book.
Oh right, immediately it's like Little Women.
Yeah, every time everyone's like, oh, that, and I was like, no. Well, that's the English translation. And that is to do more with like family. It's got a lot of, like, that was crazy. That one to me was crazy. It was
totally not based anywhere near the book. But no, yes, it's about different women, I would assume. So
yes, there's a family, and I think their parent, I've kind of lost on the details because I did watch it a while ago, but their parents have passed away, so it's 3 sisters, and it's basically about their story, and they get involved with this in politics and just some like pretty dangerous stuff.
Okay.
And so it's really, I'd really recommend it.
Okay, all right.
For sure. What else? There's another one called Big Mouth.
All right.
Yes. That's really good. That's less, I think there's not so much romance in that. I think that's more like thriller.
Oh, yes. It's up my alley.
Right. So if you're like, don't want to, that's one good one I recommend. And also,
there's one on Netflix that has been really popular recently about vengeance. I forget what it's called.
Glory. The Glory.
Thank you. That's what
Glory?
It's called.
Yeah.
The Glory. Yeah.
Oh, that one's really good as well. That's also on my list.
I've been hearing a lot of people say really good things. We're not going to spoil that one because it's so new.
Yes.
That I'm going to guess most people haven't seen it.
Yeah. It's been out for a while now, actually. I think I watched that.
About just this year, I think.
Yeah, like relatively.
Yeah.
But that one's really, really good.
Excellent.
Really, I'd recommend that as well. And then also got to mention Crash Landing on You. That's about a South Korean woman who basically is parachuting and then ends up falling in North Korea.
Oh, no.
And then it's a love story between her and this guy, and in real life the two actors, that actor and the actress, they're married. They get married.
That's super cool.
They're really cute. And they both, because I think they're both big industry names, but they're on the slightly older side. Not God, I can't remember how old they are now, but and I think, they were like, I'm sure she gets other things of how she's not married and how he also doesn't have a partner, whatever. Yeah. But then they ended up getting together.
So cute.
Really
adorable.
Yeah.
I love it when that happens. So, to our audience who have not yet jumped into the world of K-dramas, fair warning, you will become addicted if you do it. But yes, break down those stigma doors. It's like, don't worry about the what is the word?
Don't put it into a category.
Exactly. It's not a category.
Yeah.
It simply means shows that were made in Korea.
Yeah.
And they are mostly wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for geeking out with me.
Oh, no, thank you for having me.
And thanks, listeners, for tuning into Radio Taiwan International. I'm Michelle Chang, and I'll be back next Thursday with another episode of Geek Out. Bye.
Bye.